But sugar, it was our submission that made your world go round, round, round.
I bow, I'm the kneeler, you the healer. Power in your hands, yeah, I feel you. Omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. All powerful, mama got the gift. If you ever doubted, think of life without her. I said, Isis and pray to Gaia. Praise to Namu, Sumerians, they know about it. Lady of Poland, Czestochowa, yeah, they know about it. Lady of Guadalupe, Ishtar, Babylon. All the children of Mother Earth sing the song.
I believe a black woman is God. I believe a black woman is God. I believe a black woman is God. The black woman is God. I believe a black woman is God. I believe a black woman is God.
She take on all your burdens, taking all your children. Black girl making magic when that thing ain't working. Big mama, aunt, Wanda, raise them nephew and them nieces. All them times she had me leave when it was your weekend. So of course sometimes she mad but you don't feel the wrath. Call it mercy when you spare what you deserve to have. Look at God, benevolent, never hesitant. Black Madonna birthed a son who was heaven sent.
I believe a black woman.
If you had not been so arrogant, you could have returned to your homeland with a fleet of ships. Instead, you will flee Slavers Bay on foot. Like the beggar queen you are.
We are here to discuss terms of surrender, not to trade insults.
The terms are simple. You and your foreign friends will abandon the Great Pyramid and the city of Marine. The Unsullied you stole from Krasny's Monoklos will remain to be sold again to the highest bidder. The translator you stole from Krasny's Monoklos will remain to be sold again to the highest bidder. The dragons beneath the Great Pyramid will be slaughtered.
We obviously didn't communicate clearly. We're here to discuss your surrender, not mine.
I imagine it's difficult, adjusting to the new reality. Your reign is over.
My reign has just begun.
This is where you've been for 20 years? You've been rescuing them. Unbelievable.
You're not upset?
What? No, I don't know. It's a bit much to get my head around, to be frank. It's not every day you find out your mother is some kind of crazy, feral, vigilante dragon lady.
Oh. At least I'm not boring. Right?
Well, I suppose there is that. One specific thing.
Do you like it?
I don't have the words.
Can I? Oh, he's beautiful. Oh, oh incredible. He might very well be the last of his kind. Oh, and look, he's your age.
Wow.
Oh, no wonder you get along so well. Oh, yeah. Retractable teeth. How did you manage?
I found him in the woods. He was shot down and wounded.
This snaffle Fang lost his leg to one of Drago Bloodfist's iron traps.
This raincutter had a wing slice by razor netting. And this poor Hobblegrunt was blinded by a tree snare and then left to die alone and scared.
And what of this? Did Drago or his trappers do this too?
Oh, yeah. Well, crazy thing is, I'm actually the one who shot him down. Hey, it's okay though. You got me back, right, bud? You couldn't save all of me, could you? You just had to make it even. So, peg leg.
What did your father think of your Night Fury friend?
He didn't take it all that well. But then he changed. They all did. Pretty soon, everyone back home had dragons of their own.
If only it were possible.
No, really.
Believe me, I tried as well, but people are not capable of change, Hiccup. Some of us were just born different.
procession, which is talking about the alignment, and the return of the great goddess. You see, they're trying to veil the goddess. They're trying to hide the goddess by saying that a male is going to come back and restore everything, when actually it's going to be a female, okay? Now, based on this scholarship, it's saying that the 13th constellation, Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, and I have a picture of the constellation on my page, and it's the 13th astrological sign, and it's for those born from November 30th to December 17th. So that makes me wonder, am I really an Aquarius? Is my brother or sister really a Gemini or a Leo or a Scorpio, you know, since we have a 13th constellation out there, you know? But like I said in previous videos, if you watch my YouTube videos, they had to change the way that we measure time. So they had to change everything over to the number 12, and they reduced it from the number 13, okay? And that's how we have our Gregorian calendars, and that's how they started measuring time by the sun, because we used to measure time by the moon during the matriarchal period, okay? Now, according to this myth, Ophiuchus became a healer when he killed the snake, and another appeared with an herb in his mouth that revived the dead one, okay? The sun has been going through Ophiuchus for thousands of years, okay? And then it goes on to say that the new sign, which was originally discarded by the Babylonians, who wanted just the 12 signs per year because they were fighting for this patriarchy, okay? And they wanted to move away from the matriarchal goddess worship, okay? It's associated with healing. It's associated with enlightenment, medicine, and higher education. But some astrologers say that people don't need to worry about their star sign having shifted. So they're saying here that our star signs are going to shift during this alignment, okay? Now, they're saying here that most Western astrologers adhere to the tropical zodiac, a system fixed to seasons, rather than the constellation-based system the Babylonians came up with, okay? Now, it says here also, the current reemergence of the serpent bear, which is the great mother, the ancient snake goddess, from time before his story, is the return of the great goddess. She is returning now because Earth is aligning with the center of her home galaxy, and the great goddess is heralding an occurrence, the beginning of the ascending processional cycle, which begins once every 27,000 years, as I said in my previous show, okay? Now, the Great Mother is returning, and that was the divine feminine correction that I had been speaking of in my previous shows, okay? And this scholarship verifies that. So, based on this information, brothers and sisters, specifically the sisters, this causes me to question, since the Great Mother is coming back, does that make all these other prophecies obsolete? Now that you know that she is indeed coming back during this alignment, when they're talking about this LNN and this Planet X and this dwarf star and all this kind of stuff you see on YouTube and all over the internet, come to find out, it ain't nothing but the feminine energy. Now, I just read to you the scholarship. She is returning, okay, to the earth, okay? Now, also it says in the Hopi prophecy, let me go back up to the Hopi prophecy and throw this in. Now, it says here in the Hopi prophecy, one of their predictions is that it'll be two serpents, and it'll be a warrior sitting at one of the poles at the serpent's head, and it'll be another warrior sitting at the other pole at the serpent's tail. Okay? And then they're saying that, I'll read it to you. There are two water serpents, and these water serpents, they're pulling from this ancient goddess text. They could be also pulling it from the Tiamat myth, the Tiamat and Marduk myth, but I'll read it to you. There are two water serpents, one at each pole with the warrior sitting on his head and tail. These command nature to warn us of her activities, that time is getting short, and we must correct ourselves. If we refuse to take heed to these warnings, the warriors will let go of the serpents, and they will rise up, and they will perish. Okay, my question is, who are these warriors? And from reading what I just read to you, it doesn't say anything about any warriors holding down the goddess. Now, that's the patriarchal struggle when they talk about these warriors, because these warriors are men. They're not goddesses, okay? Goddesses wouldn't be holding down the Great Mother. You understand what I'm saying? So they're trying to keep a hold on her. They're trying to control her to protect their patriarchy from the wrath and the feminine divine correction that is to come. But like I said in my last show, they cannot stop it. Okay? It's too late. Okay? Now, they're saying that this is a frightening prophecy. I don't think so. I don't think it's a frightening prophecy because you dibbled and dabbled and you plagiarized to put together this so-called Hopi prophecy, and it's not an original authored work by the Hopi people or by any type of Hopi scholars. Or even a Hopi scholar will come up with his own original writing and have some type of psychic vision or something that is to come. Okay? But they couldn't even do that shit. All right? So I just have a problem with this prophecy from beginning to end. I just truly do. And I don't think that you should take this prophecy as coming to pass given the information that I'm giving you. Okay? Now, let me check my time real quick. Okay, going back into this Ophiuchus, the Great Mother, coming back during the alignment. Now, like I said before, the processional cycle begins once every 27,000 years, which is an age, sisters, okay? Now, it also says here that the Serpent Bearer constellation is situated between the Serpent's constellation, which is unique, okay, as far as other modern constellations, being split in two contagious parts. The serpent's head to the west, and the serpent's cauda, the serpent's tail, to, what is it? The east. That's what it's saying here. Okay, so that's what this Hopi prophecy was talking about. These warriors are going to go to these poles, or they're going to go up into the constellation to try to control the Mother Goddess. That's why on my page, if you look at my page, Ophiuchus is trying, he looks like he's in a struggle, trying to control the snake dragon, trying to control the feminine energy. He's trying to control the feminine energy in order to keep his patriarchy going, in order to continue to rule the planet. But that time is up because we're going and moving into a new age. Okay? One moment. So, the Great Mother has several different aspects. She has a Babylonian aspect of Tiamat, and that represents a huge serpent. All throughout the world, the serpent is the symbol of the evil dragon and the powers of evil. But it's not evil. It is not. If you study the serpent, they use the serpent on medical buildings as a form of healing in the medical arts. The queens and the goddesses in Egypt had serpents on their crowns as far as opening up and psychic vision. So it's, and they also used serpents to heal. So serpent is in no way evil. Man had to deem it as evil in order to take its power away from it and deem it bad so that you and other generations would stay away from it and leave it alone. Okay? This serpent is also seen, this same serpent is also seen in the book of Genesis, near the tree of paradise or the tree of life. And they also talk about this tree, forbidden fruit, which brought her mortality. So it's the fruit, it's the snake, and it's this procession, and it's this alignment, and it's these prophecies, and matriarchy and patriarchy. You see, they're trying. How can I word this for you? They're trying to veil the mother. They're trying to veil the Great Mother and cloak her because they don't want you to recognize the event that she is to arise. And they want to pull your attention away from that to get you to bow down to the man, because the man wants your allegiance. Because there's going to come a time, brothers and sisters, that you're going to be asked, who is your allegiance to? It's going to be a time when you're going to be asked, or you're going to have to choose your side, as they say. Okay? And this is part of what they're talking about. Okay? So what I recommend is go back and read these Babylonian myths. Go back and study Marduk and Tiamat. Maybe I'll do a show on that to give you a breakdown on that. I think I will. Maybe in a few weeks. Also, there's a book that you can get, and let me give you that name. It's called The Empowered Human, The Pyramid Code, The Egyptian Book of the Dead, okay? And it's by Carmen Butler. That's Boulter, okay? And it says here that she goes into this serpent myth, but if you didn't want to get the book, you can also, there's a plethora of information on the internet where you can study more about this serpent. But my focus is these males that are writing these prophecies to get you to bow down and be subservient to them, when I just gave you scholarship stating that the Great Mother is to return. Okay? They don't want you to know that the Great Mother is to return. They don't want you to pay attention to that. That's why they put these prophecies out. And then they lie to you, and then they tell you the truth at the same time. They got to give you some truth. It can't all be a lie. They got to give you a little bit of truth. But at the same time, they got to lie to you to pull you to them, to give you enough fear and enough intimidation to where you will be subservient and pull to them and pull away from the mother. When, like I said in my last show, now is a time more than any when you need to be getting connected with the Mother Earth, getting in connection with the universe, which is feminine, and getting in connection with yourself and preparing yourself for these events that are about to take place. No one knows the day, time, or hour, but it is going to be spectacular. I can promise you that. Okay? So that was basically the gist of it. And when you do have some time, go study the constellation of Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. They're saying that the constellation can be seen with a naked eye, okay, if you have a telescope. And the constellation looks actually like the front of a house. You know, it is a constellated house, but it is the constellated house of the Great Mother. And she, okay, so it's a fiction. The 12 tribes are a fiction, but the 12 is always maintained. So it's saying that the 12 tribes are actually fraudulent. It's actually 13 tribes, you see. But we deal with 12 tribes. No, we deal with 12 constellations in the astrology wheel, but it's actually 13. If you watch my previous show, I go into the 13th constellation. They call it Ophiuchus. And if you read that, it's talking about the Great Mother is to return, okay? And the Great Mother, here we go again with the snake and the dragon, okay? It keeps going back to the snake and the dragon. So, now, in this myth of the snake, they say that this dragon, this snake, this serpent, which indeed connects to Lilith, which indeed connects with this Garden of Eden, which indeed connects to the female, which indeed connects to this constellation, Ophiuchus, which indeed connects to the 13 months in a year instead of the fraudulent 12 months in a year. It all connects. Also, the number 13 deals with the goddess Freya. And it also deals with, remember those movies that came out with Freddy Krueger, Friday the 13th? You need to go back and watch that movie because maybe you can find some connections in that as well. They're trying to get you to fear the number 13 and fear these particular goddesses that are aligned with this numerology. Okay? Now, going back to the dragon spirals, which is a feminine aspect, because we are indeed connected to the universe, because that spiral, that DNA, it'll show that we connect to our mother, and then our grandmother, great-grandmother, so on and so forth, okay? And the universe travels in a spiral. It doesn't travel just in a constant circle over and over and over again. So it all lines up. Now, going back to this dragon, let me check my time. Okay, going back to this dragon, they say that this dragon will be passing by our Earth. And it passes by our Earth about every 3,006 years. And in its tail, it has a lot of space debris and meteorites and space dust and so on and so forth. And it's going to cause these changes to occur. For example, Turkey, I just read the news, had a major earthquake. And, you know, we just had 2 earthquakes the other day. What was that, a day and a half ago, 2 days ago? We went through 2 earthquakes, And then my husband and I was in bed, laying down, sleep late at night, and the bed started shaking in the late night hours. So we've been going through series of earthquakes, and now it's saying that Turkey has just experienced an earthquake. So my interpretation that it has maybe a lot to do with these pole shifts. These poles are supposed to be shifting, and they say that this shift is supposed to last for about an hour when it does take place. And they're saying that you'll notice when this 3 days of darkness occurs. That ain't nothing but the feminine energy. It's nothing to be afraid of. And the darkness has to do with the feminine energy as well. Because when we are in our mother's womb, it's dark. We get our nutrition in our mother's womb. We grow in our mother's womb for 9 months of darkness. And we come out perfectly fine, breathing with a heartbeat. We come out absolutely beautiful. So the darkness is nothing to be afraid of. But it's going to indeed seriously affect this planet. And this is part of the divine correction that I was speaking of. And this is going to be a natural occurrence. So, I think that we should indeed try to get ready for it. I don't believe there is nowhere to run. I don't believe there's nowhere to hide. And I encourage you to start paying more attention to these creation myths and these prophecies, sisters. And when you read them, don't just whim them over your head, because when I read them, I don't whim them over my head. I look for arrogance. I look for male chauvinism. I look for, is it two sides of the story or is it one side of the story? And words that pop out to me: snake, dragon, Garden of Eden, women, demonizing the woman, calling her everything in the book because she disagrees. Children, these are red flags to me, and they pop out. And I put these things together, and I try to look at it from the feminine point of view, because the feminine point of view is there, but it's not to say that it's her side of the story. You see what I'm saying? It's one-sided, and that's how I connect the dots. That's how I do it. But getting back into this myth, you have to be careful of what you're reading and how you're reading it. And you have to pay attention to these things and take a deeper look and connect the dots and put it together for yourself so that you have your own interpretation and that you're able to answer your own questions, okay? So, all I could say is, we need to be getting ourselves ready. Like I said, if you can, wash that perm out of your hair. Start cleansing your body. Start getting your life in order. Start correcting yourself. Break bad habits. Eat healthier. Exercise. Connect with the earth. Now is a very important time for you to be connecting to the earth, connecting to the universe. Meditate. Very important. Connect with the Mother Goddess and see what she has to say. I connect with her every day. there's a lot of things that you can do to get in tune and to get connected. Because unforeseen forces are at work. And things are not what they seem to be or what you think they are, just looking through the naked eye. It's a lot more other things going on that you cannot see. You understand what I'm saying? And these texts that these men have written are clearly arrogant and support his wanting to have dominion and authority over the woman. And he has already claimed the woman as being a child. So I'm not saying all men are like this, but this is what the text is saying. Okay? So the divine correction is coming. And because of the abuses and the madness that's going on today, okay, and I'm not going to go into that madness that's going on today. I'm sure you have a good idea of what I'm speaking of. People wanting to change their gender because they know that the female is divine. And so first, you want to rule over the female. Now, you want to create yourself to be like the female, even though you wanted to rule over her. And I hope y'all can catch what I'm saying, because I'm not going to go into depth with it. So there seems to be a confusion there. You want to rule the planet. You want to demonize the female. But yet and still, now all of a sudden, you got campaigns out to be something other than what you're not. And now you want to be like the female. I don't think you know what the hell you want to do. But if you're trying to be something that you're not, and if you're trying to take the place of a female, that would be literally impossible because you can't give birth to a child. Your heart would not be able to sustain it. You don't have a womb. Well, you may have a womb, but you don't have a womb that's designed to carry a child. So it's only so far that you can go with this game or whatever it is, this campaign that you're playing of trying to be a female, and you're not a female. It's only so far that you can go. You know what I'm saying? Because without the female, let's say all the indigenous females, the black female, say we were to get up and just leave the planet, go somewhere else, this civilization would not last long. I'd give it 100 years. Okay? Man cannot create man. Okay? You wouldn't survive. Okay? You can go get fake titties, wear cowrie shell titty cup bras. You know, you can do all that foolishness. But you wouldn't be able to give birth to children. So you wouldn't survive long on this planet. But you try to imitate the female. But it's only so far you can go with that. You see? So who is really in control? You know what I'm saying? Who is really in control? You try to physically control her, but there are going to be other aspects that are going to bring changes to this planet, because she's going to be moving into the fifth dimension. And who wants to go into the fifth dimension as something or somebody that you are not? Who wants to go into the fifth dimension being something that you're not? That just don't jive too good with me. You know, that just don't sound right to me. You know, it's going to be a lot of folk that ain't going to make it. You know, it's going to be folk that do make it. But whatever the case may be, it's going to be spectacular. And we're going to have to deal with it, sisters. And, you know, you also, too, have to look at these men in the aspect of, if you don't side with them, if you don't roll with them, if you don't side with them, but you have your own opinion and you speak your mind, then they got a problem with you. Okay? But they want to side with another female that is siding with them or working with them or whatever you want to call it, but then go diss the other female. You know, it goes back to this same creation myth. It goes back to this same creation myth. And these games are still being played today. They're still being played today, sisters. They still are. Okay? Lilith dissed Adam. So he had to go get him another female that would side with him and lay with him and have children. Okay? And even though she went and spoke with Lilith at the tree and ate of the apple, God still cursed her. So if you think about it, he cursed both women. Even though Lilith flew away, he cursed both women. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, sisters, you have to be careful of these men that you're dealing with. You know, because they get emotional too. And they may want to curse you, and you may feel that you ain't did nothing wrong. So you really have to be careful. These men that you deal with, you know, you really do. Because he may make you think, oh, it's cool, I'm on your side, blah, 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 blah. But then another female, he dissing her. Okay? But those two females never got a chance to talk to each other to find out what's really going on and what kind of game this man is playing. But Lilith, I believe, was the serpent in the Garden of Eden. And she did get a chance to talk to Eve. Okay? Now, whether God knew that that was Lilith or not, I don't know. But whatever the case may be, she did get a chance to talk to Eve, to persuade Eve to think for herself. And I think that was Lilith's purpose. That's what I'm trying to say. So, this man is very peculiar, sisters. So we need to take a deeper look and break down these texts. And I'll go into it. I may do a part 2 of this. We'll take a deeper look and try to break it down even more. And look at this male and try to analyze more of these myths and the feminine side of the story. Okay? So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get off this mic, and I enjoy